Does set some scary precedents. Specifically, this meme. Unity is making this real. Pirate game. Delete it and download it again 9 more times. Company loses $600.
What?
Is this becoming true now? Can there be campaigns to reinstall games? You remember how I just told you that they would be charging for multiple installs? Well, they walked that back today. Apparently, they're only going to charge for one installation of a game. But how do they track that? Are they able to track my multiple computers or multiple devices?
Yeah, that's a good point. What if I install things on like my iPhone and then like another iPhone that I have? Like, what if I have 2 separate phones, like a work phone and a game phone? Like, what?
What if I do it on console or PC or Steam Deck? It seems like there's going to be a lot of holes. And this has scared devs shitless. It has led to the least productive day in game development history. Here's one of the creators of Among Us talking about how they're thinking about how they would port the game away from Unity.
They would want to port it away. They're so scared they want to port it to a different engine. What if I spoof my Mac address? How would they know that? Yeah, that's a good point. What if you're spoofing too? That's fucked up.
To a competitor like Godot, rather than actually paying these fees, because it would be cheaper to just do that.
There are so many Among Us players too, every single day, even now.
Here's Massive Monster saying,
"No, not Massive Monster. They made Cult of the Lamb, man.
Hey, we made Cult of Lamb. We like making games. We like using Unity. This shit sucks. We're gonna stop using Unity." Here's Aggro Crab also signing up saying, hey, we have a game going to Game Pass. Can we actually trust Unity to track effectively people installing in Game Pass versus on their own personal computers? This is all very scary. Even publishers like Developer Digital are talking about perhaps not publishing games if they're using certain engines. They're being somewhat coy about this, but it's pretty clear people are trying to stay away from Unity now. If this decision goes...
This is fucking scary, dude. Like, the fact that these companies, like, even, like, indies and small and bigger ones are scared,
it's going
like,
to
shit,
impact
dude.
everyone, including you. It's going to totally change the timelines for games that are currently in the pipeline.
Oh my god.
Games that had a few months of work are now...
Hold on. Pokemon Go, Hollow Knight, Ori, Cuphead, Hearthstone! Oh no! Blizzard's gonna be so mad! Beat Saber, Fall Guys, Among Us, Firewatch, Subnautica, Monument Valley, Goose Game! Holy shit! Rust too! Dude, Rust is gonna be so mad. Holy... Oh my god. Fuck you. Let them fight? I mean, yeah, but still, for smaller. Among Us, Goose Game, Monument Valley, Ori, Cuphead, Pokemon Go. Yeah, I know Pokemon Go. Genshin! Oh no! Not the Genshin! People are gonna use Unreal Engine. That's 5% compared to 14% for smaller people. And it's only 5% without the downloading and the per use runtime too. That blows my fucking mind that they would just like say, yeah, totally, that works. But still, making an engine as a small indie company is insanely strenuous. Oh yeah! Hold on. That's what I wanted to look at. Unity stocks. Oh shit! Look at that! That's what I wanted to look at. I was like, I was trying to remember what it was, and then someone, yeah. What happened? Yeah, I wonder what happened. Look at that. Shaking a fat shit right there. It's not funny, man. It's not kicking. We're watching a video about the Unity thing. Okay, we're gonna watch a video about the Unity thing getting worse with upper echelon gaming. Stop kicking, guys. Yes, please stop kicking. It's not funny. Not Unity again? Yes, apparently it's gotten worse.
All right, yesterday I talked about the fall of Unity, and today I'm talking about it again. Why? Because it continues to get much, much worse. The picture continues to change, and because I'm now fascinated by it. Long story short, watching a company implode like this and
No more
scratching my head as
kicking,
to
no more
why
laughing.
makes me want to figure it all out. If
Yeah,
not
it's
for
not
certain,
funny,
then at least
guys.
plausible speculation on what the reasons might be, the secret agendas, or the hidden motivations. I'm not going to bore everyone with a lengthy recap of stuff they've already heard because most people probably understand the gist of it already. However, the crux of the issue is this. Unity Technologies, a video game software company responsible for making the Unity game engine, has recently adjusted their fee structure. On top of a flat subscription service, they will...
By the way, they're taking down, what is it called? Cult of the Lamb. The game that I played like a couple months ago. They're taking it down by January if they don't adjust this. They're like gonna delete it. They don't want to pay the fees.
Now charge game developers per install with retroactive terms of service changes, and that monetization scheme will have a severe negative impact on a great deal of projects. Going further, they deliberately pulled down their own transparency GitHub repo, tracking changes like this, and reversed a number of commitments from years prior about having the best interests of the community at heart. In essence, they destroyed the totality of their goodwill, jeopardized a multitude of projects, angered the entire industry, top to bottom, and they did all of it for what? More money?
For money! Just like every other corporate company.
Sure, the CEO is an industry paragon of how to squeeze more money from an audience. We discussed that last time, but deeper than that, it seems like there must be something more sinister happening. Avoiding the topics I focused on last time, you can just go watch the prior video if you want to hear about those. Let's take a look at the board of directors. We already know about John Riccitiello, however you say that, the CEO. He sold a bit of his stock right before this all happened. He was the former CEO at EA Games. He wanted to charge...
He was a former CEO at EA Games? Oh my god, this explains so much. This explains a lot. This behavior
when price aversion was lowest, and the industry hates him for good reason. But who's this guy? Tomar Barziv. Credit where credit is due. Tugging on this thread is the result of a post on r/unity from a user named Zijit. I'll link to that down below. Tomar Barziv is on the board of directors at Unity, but he is also the CEO of a company called IronSource. Now, IronSource itself is an important piece of the potential puzzle because IronSource actually merged in November of 2022 with Unity Technologies. This, at the time, was a $4.4 billion deal.
Holy shit! Wait, what was the merger cost of... What was the merger cost? 6.87 billion. 4.4 billion is still a lot for a little merger like that. Damn, though.
But the landscape surrounding that deal is what matters most. For reference, IronSource is a company that specializes in mobile game development, monetization, and distribution. Okay, so Tomar Barziv, sitting on the board of directors at Unity Technologies and also CEO of IronSource, is a figure of interest, but it turns out that when you go down the list of Unity insiders who are selling stock in the company, this guy is by far the most aggressive. Over the past year alone, according to Fintel, it appears that...
Oh my god, my boy! Holy... How many did he sell? Oh my god. Hold on, can you see this? That's a lot of stock, dude.
Tomar Barziv has sold upwards of $20 million in Unity stock, which is interesting to say the very least. Now, remember that $4.4 billion merger between Unity Technologies and IronSource? Well, it turns out that deal had a number of, shall we say, complications. First, at the same time as this $4.4 billion deal, or merger, was taking place, a company called AppLovin made a competing offer to buy out Unity completely for $20 billion. But Unity rejected this deal, citing that the deal, quote, would not reasonably be expected to result in a superior proposal, end quote. I find that exceptionally odd on a personal level, given that the comparable market capitalization at the time was significantly below $20 billion, making this...
Oh, wait, do we have any stonk frogs in the chat? Look at these stonks. I don't know what any of this means, but I'm assuming down means bad. McLovin Game Maker. I need to do better to understand them. Red bad. This is bad. I see that. I see that. This is very bad. This is extremely bad. Is that the guy I wanted to make creators pay for every download? Yeah.
This an offer that came with a sizable upside premium. Still, the deal with IronSource would leave Unity in control, while the deal with AppLovin would reduce them to 49% voting rights, so yeah, it's a bit complicated, and they rejected the offer. Anyway, after rejecting AppLovin, Unity merged with IronSource, and now the CEO of IronSource, Tomar Barziv, as we've said, sells tens of millions of dollars worth of stock, while the company destroys every shred of community goodwill that it has, but it gets better. During the deal with IronSource, 2 investment companies, Sequoia Capital and Silver Lake, pledged to come on board with $1 billion invested in the deal itself. That's honestly peanuts compared to AppLovin, but when the deal eventually did come through, 2 more people, one from each of those companies, joined Unity's board of directors, Egon Durbin and Rolaf.
Dude, when there's so much leadership being passed around, that's always like a really bad sign, man.
These nuts. Starting with Egon Durbin, he is a founding principal and managing director at Silver Lake, which it now appears, I shit you not, has sold the entirety of their directly held remaining stock in Unity Technologies, disclosed as of yesterday. Also, Egon Durbin, once again, big shout out to Zijit over on Reddit. The connections here are fascinating, and I wouldn't have known about half of them without their post. Egon Durbin was embroiled in scandal when he advised Elon Musk about the potential to take Tesla private. That was a whole fiasco with a legal quagmire where Elon said he was going to take the company private, and then the SEC got involved, etc., etc. But Egon Durbin still has major ties to both Twitter and Musk, as shareholders attempted to oust him and failed in the wake of Musk's infamous takeover. Well, now that we have Elon Musk in the mix, once again, let's double down. Egon Durbin came on board through Silver Lake, but Rolaf Botha came on board with Sequoia Capital. Yeah, Rolaf Botha is part of what's commonly referred to as the PayPal Mafia, man. Alongside...
Wait, there's a PayPal Mafia? I knew about it, but I didn't think it was like an actual term. PayPal is a group of former PayPal employees, founders who have since founded or developed digital technology companies. Tesla, LinkedIn, SpaceX, Kiva, YouTube, Yelp, and Yammer. Whoa! I knew about this like from a vague, like, I don't know, like a mainstream media perspective, but I didn't think it was like an actual like defined thing. Damn.
Musk. The PayPal Mafia, for those that don't know, is a list of former employees and founders at PayPal who have since gone on to create a giant spider web of technology companies.
Roll of both.
Includes names like Peter Thiel, Chad Hurley, co-founder of YouTube, Yishan Wong, founder of Reddit, and yes, Rolaf Botha, a partner now at Sequoia
Reddit
Capital,
is the
sitting on the board of directors at Unity. Get this. In October of 2022, Rolaf Botha was predicting success, quote unquote, for Elon Musk at Twitter, stating that his firm, Sequoia Capital,
yeah, I don't know about that, man,
conducted due diligence and the business model can be improved. But let's expand on that comparison. See, Twitter actually made radical changes to their API pricing model not long after Elon's takeover, and those changes are not dissimilar to those of Unity. Personally, I ran up against this when trying to map these huge political bot networks with my team, and now I can't do that because I got locked out of the API based on those changes, and I can't afford to pay thousands of dollars per month to do it. Hosting costs have long been the...
Wait, yeah, that's right. They were charging something ridiculous to do that with the API for Reddit, right? And now they're doing it, well, not doing that exactly, but they're doing a similar thing. That's so fucked up, man. I didn't know it was all interconnected.
The more traffic you get, the more expensive it is. And Twitter decided to start ruthlessly charging developers for API requests. That resulted in a lot of applications being deprecated because they just simply couldn't afford the costs being passed down to them in such a way. And the trend is far from over. Reddit, much like Twitter, went down a very similar route, opting to start spontaneously charging for API usage. And Reddit CEO Steve Huffman is on record praising Elon Musk's new monetization tactics for Twitter as a platform, explicitly saying that their conversations had been inspiring for him. Flash forward today, and we now see Unity opting to continue that.
God, what's next, dude? Like, what else would be in the Mafia that would be of interest to them? I can't even, like...
Very same trend. Logistically, protecting game developers from bad actors will now be completely impossible because every time you spin up a virtual machine, it's a brand new install, right? And they have no way to differentiate that, and you could easily target developers if you wanted to. But focusing on the casual mobile game market, remember, Unity accepted an IronSource merger at $4.4 billion instead of a merger with AppLovin, valued at $20 billion. Focusing on the casual mobile market, we see this right here. Unity is offering a runtime fee waiver if you switch to level play
as it tries to kill AppLovin. What?
As it tries to kill AppLovin. Would you look at that? Level Play is a service from IronSource. Here's a much better visualization of what...
This is just a big fucking Mafia, man. This is fucking wild, man.
What's actually happening from a username
God.
Sososki on Twitter. The yellow indicates the portion of developers who will now lose between 10 and 25% of their revenue with Unity's new terms of service. The orange, they stand to lose between 25 and 50% of their revenue. Red can lose between 50 and 100%.
Just racketeering,
and that scary black line off to the left, not huge, but it is there. That's the area where these new terms will bankrupt your company because Unity decided to charge you more money per install than your app is even making. We're mostly talking about small-scale free mobile applications and games, but even if I have my gripes with the mobile game market, those people still have jobs and deserve fair treatment. Let's go big picture here. Unity is being raked over the coals, rightly so, for their decision to implement aggressive pricing on their customer base. That decision emulates a pattern that began with Twitter, was mirrored by Reddit, and is now making its way through the broader markets. The decision itself appears to be aimed at
this fucking typing is pissing me off.
Killing a competing service after Unity actually rejected a buyout offer from that service's owner in favor of a merger with ironSource, who stands to gain the most from this entire controversy. Meanwhile, the CEO of ironSource and the directors who came on board through Sequoia Capital and Silver Lake during the deal relentlessly dump their stock in Unity, standing to gain massively as the business gets funneled into level play. The vouchers, that's the key. Anecdotes are beginning to surface right now more and more where developers are being offered runtime fee waivers to switch over. And some are being told that their fees will be covered with credits because they already use ironSource as their ad provider. The golden goose here is ironSource, and the gaming developers being affected are just casualties of a hidden agenda. Thankfully, there are still ways for developers to fight back. As an example, there was recently a collective letter from game companies announcing that they will be turning off Unity and ironSource ad monetization in retaliation, which is probably the single most effective action they can possibly take.
Okay.
This entire move appears to be designed as a funnel to steal market share from Apple.
I just think that they probably looked ahead and to see what kind of things they could get away with before doing it. Like, do you think they thought ahead that these people would turn off the ads so that they would lose money? Like, do they really care? Like, that's what I kind of want to see.
Insanely damaging policy shifts. But when the advertising revenue starts to take a hit, companies do actually take notice. There are some big names backing this letter. Azure, Voodoo, Century Games, etc. And as the dust settles and the real targets become clear, reality continues to dawn that Unity may have just completely killed their own business entirely. They could turn back, I guess, but no one will ever trust them again, period. They could stay the course and maybe funnel a fair number of projects into level play over at ironSource, which appears to be the actual goal. But how high is the cost of that action? Casual mobile gaming might be the future of the industry from a raw numbers perspective. It might be the largest vertical out there even in terms of player count, but it's not the only one. And taking the type of reputational hit that they have already taken doesn't exactly seem worth it to me. Who knows?
Well, then they probably lose a lot to their competition. Think they tanked it on purpose? Of course they did. I think they did. They're just seeing how much money they can make in the long run if it's worth it to ruin their reputation. Because they clearly dumped a bunch of stocks too.
Twitter did something vaguely similar right off the bat and never looked back. Reddit hopped on board soon after, and maybe Unity is just third in line for the new industry norm, trailblazing like as they go. But somehow this one seems a bit different. The anger seems more physical even. And
because more people play video games and they visit Twitter and Reddit. That's why it's so angry. The average person hears about this stuff and they're like, yeah, they're gonna ruin video games. And they're like, what? No way! Like, they're freaking out. The only reason Twitter and Reddit were able to do what they did is because there's anything like it at like Unity, which has a Godot and Unreal to compete with. Yeah, and on top of that, the video games, like to the average person, say the average person doesn't use Twitch, doesn't use Reddit, they hear it from like a news mainstream article, they'd be like, yeah, this one company is gonna ruin gaming. Like, that's a bigger deal than, oh, Twitter and Reddit are gonna stop using API. It's like, just like, who gives a fuck? I don't care about that, you know? Because indie games are better than AAA and this affects them. Well, isn't there quite a few AAA games that are getting affected by this, like Genshin and Honkai? I'm pretty sure they are, aren't they?
And the consequences are ramping up fast. Final example here, it seems pertinent to back up what I'm saying for this part. Unity decided to close 2 of its offices in mid-September.
Wait, what?
After, quote, credible threats, unquote, but those threats were made by their own employee. The company is being ripped apart at the seams. And honestly, I'm not sad to see it.
Fuck?
Sure, the threats are overkill. There's no place for that, obviously.
That's fucked up,
but it demonstrates that we've crossed a line between typical outrage, or online grumbling, as some people call it, and actual consequences for their actions. All in all, when I made the video yesterday, I didn't think it could get much worse. I figured the situation would die down, if anything, but no, it has.
Genshin and Honkai are free games with quotation marks. I understand that, but I'm saying if Genshin and Honkai say, hey, we fucking... the Hoyoverse, whatever people that they make the game with, they use Unity, right? If they take that down, people are gonna be fucking pissed.
It's not. Decidedly has not. The agendas and motives in play here are fascinating, whatever they ultimately might be, and I really wanted to talk about it. That's it. Links are down below to support. Please consider Patreon, locals, or channel memberships. AdSense is extremely unreliable these days, and as I get back into the full swing of much more frequent content generation, it's just a helpful thing for me to have. There's more, like a cybersecurity product affiliate list, social media, etc., but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching.
Very informative and summarizes everything, at least to me. I didn't know about like this insider trading, this basically like a Mafia thing. I didn't even know that. Also, some Nintendo games are made in Unity. What? Uh-oh, someone already Googled it before me. I can't find anything on the top of my head. I mean, Pokemon Go isn't owned by, I mean, kind of. Like, Niantic publishes it with Nintendo, so I guess that's a big deal, right? Insider is normal for the elite wealthy, Alana. I'm aware. Pokemon Go, that's enough for Nintendo to fight. Yeah, they're gonna fucking pull out some punches. Dude, Nintendo is aggressive, too, so I can't imagine they're gonna be so fucking pissed. People are also arguing that they kind of like pulled the rug out from under them and just kind of did whatever they wanted. They changed the policy without giving people warning, and that could also be a big deal. I don't know how it is. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what I heard. Nintendo's a little bitch still. They're not a little bitch when it comes to their property, man. They're gonna do something probably. Also, great video, very informative. Upper echelon. Good news source. The death of Unity. They've been keeping up with it, so great stuff. They removed their policy from their site to change it in secret, definitely shady business. Yeah, exactly. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know how deep this stuff goes, but I imagine it's not great to rug pull people like this. Nintendo has the right to be a little bitch about stuff they own. We can hate it, but that's how it works. Exactly. Mommy! Piss. Shit! Piss. Fuck. Fucking shit on calm. Piss myself. Fuck. Piss. Fuck. Piss.